Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be featuring some battles from my stream. These are three teams that I use that I found were pretty effective in my Great League battles. First one is Umbreon with Snarl, Foul Play, and Last Resort. Politoed with Mudshot, Weather Ball, and Earthquake. Earthquake is a legacy moveset. And then Alola Ninetales with Powder Snow, Weather Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. I like the Dazzling Gleam because it's a little bit better of a Zoom Roll matchup because it is stab as opposed to, or has the same type of attack bonus as opposed to Psy Shock, which is also really nice too and would have became handy in one of my matches. And so we're going to show three teams here. We're going to show 15 battles. Should be a lot of fun. The first matchup is going to be Umbreon versus Stunfisk. Generally a favorable matchup for Umbreon for a couple reasons. One, Umbreon has better bulk, just has a better stat product than Stunfisk. Stunfisk is very tanky as well, but Umbreon is just obviously cream of the crop. And then as well, Foul Play is a better move than Discharge, just barely. I think it's like a 5 damage difference. And then Thunder Shock, Snarl, not really too big of a difference. Proportionally, they're about the same. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. They end up catching the move. Really nice job on their side. I tried to sync the fast moves so that because of that, I really don't have. Well, both my Pokemon in the back are okay, but I figured like I have so much energy here, and it's gonna do a decent amount to Skarmory. So I am gonna look to take the move here, take the damage from Skarmory, and yeah, we'll see. It's gonna turn the music a little bit. Hopefully it's not too loud for people. And yeah, I'm gonna look to throw the Weather Ball here. I debated between going Ninetales or Ninetales or Politoed, but I ended up choosing Politoed because I was trying to figure out if they had maybe they had a fighter in the back. Ninetales would be a little bit better because of the Dazzling Gleam. I potentially could have farmed down there, but it would have been super close, and I really didn't want to take the Sky Attack. And then they come into Abomasnow, which is actually really bad for me. But that's fine though. And I just pretend like I have the Blizzard, which obviously I don't. They're probably going to throw the Energy Ball here. So I end up shielding it. And they come into Stunfisk, not that big a deal. Discharge again, not that great of a move. I should be able to take these moves no problem. So for sure I'm going to be able to take this Discharge. I believe they don't get to it, but they're very close. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So they probably had the move there, or one short. And they end up getting the Powder Snow through, which is not that big a deal. I really just need to connect with this next Weather Ball, and that shouldn't be that big a deal. Because I do have a Weather Ball stored on Politoed, and then they need like 7 more. They need 7 more since they came in. I think they got to like 6 or 7, but I was in a really good spot anyway, so it's gonna be GG. And then I'm not sure why it takes so long to start up the next match, so we're just gonna go ahead and fast forward a little bit here. Oh, okay, going against Rocket's Hunter. Okay, so then very odd Pokemon. I have no idea what moves it has. Ends up having Confusion, which is really favorable for me. I do switch it a little bit slow there, so they're able to get to 2 Mudshots ahead of me. So they should be at 6. So I end up shielding. No, I'm not shielding this because it's just a Rock Slide, and Rock Slide doesn't have stab, and Earthquake obviously going to do a lot more damage. And then we end up. They end up getting it basically when I get to another one. But I do get a Mudshot through, which is really good for me. I'm going to farm up a little bit. So they're 2 away from the next Rock Slide, which would probably KO my Politoed. And I throw 1. I should have threw 2, and then I just threw the 1 because I wasn't 100% confident in my count there. But I definitely should have been a little bit more confident there. I ended up throwing right away here. I really should have farmed up more. If I were to if I had like a pretty neutral matchup in the lead that I needed to assist, then I would probably farmed up more. I probably should have went EQ here for one reason. One, not because EQ is a better move than Weather Ball for Politoed, it's not. But because I can only get to one move, I throw the Snarl here because if they have a move, they would win CMP. So I would want to get the extra move through. And if they don't have the move, then I should be able to get the Snarl and be able to land the foul play before they can finish their confusion. So they commit a cross chop. Cross chop obviously going to be neutral. And I'm trying to not give them a counter so I can get this Weather Ball off and get the Powder Snow damage. And then it doesn't KO. If I had Psyshock there, that would have one-shotted. But I'm good here either way because they don't have two cross chops. And then the Snarl did connect and it would KO the Machamp. Plus I would live the second cross chop because Umbreon is absolutely busted there. Alright. We're on to this next game here. Again, these are all like early battles, so expect like kind of like teams to be all over the place. So this is not good for me. So I decided to switch here. I can win the 0 if I go straight foul play, but I decided to switch out for one reason. Because if they have power up punch, then they would be able to really ramp up on my Umbreon. I'd be able to take a shield, maybe even 2, but they would be able to farm down, and then their Umbreon, their Medicham would basically be unstoppable at that point in time because none of my Pokemon resist counter damage, and Medicham with like 3-4 times boosted counters is very scary and not a position that I really want to be in. I throw the Dazzling Gleam first, not because it's more energy efficient, but because I figured they wouldn't shield, and then I'd be able to put them in range that I could threaten a shield. And then, but in hindsight, maybe I would go straight Weather Ball next time. Is probably the appropriate play. Throw the foul play. I undercharge this foul play because I want to Snarl down, because I want to be able to throw 2 foul plays at this Medicham, at least put some pressure on it. And I'm not too worried about the Lick or Body Slam damage from Lickitung. Lickitung is quite bulky, so its attacks are not going to hurt that much. And I throw the foul play because I'm at 100 energy, so no point in throwing the extra Snarl through. And then I commit to throwing 2 more Snarls here to be able to sync up the fast moves between Snarl 3-turn move and counter 2-turn move to not give them any extra. I do have to shield this in case it is a Psychic. It ends up being a Dynamic Punch, which is really not great for me. So, and then we're switching to Azumarill, which is very fortunate for me because I almost threw the Weather Ball. And then this Earthquake does a pretty good amount of damage. This is the reason why I have Earthquake on Politoed. I believe I end up taking this move here. And is a Play Rough. They end up getting a Bubble Through, which is really not great for me. I should have stayed a little bit more disciplined through three mud shots before throwing again. I'm going to connect with this Weather Ball. And then I threw right away, mostly because I had no idea if we lagged. We did lag, but I don't know if I lost any, if they got any additional fast moves. Ended up being 1 Snarl short, which is really, really unfortunate for me. Because in order to get the 1 Snarl and the move off, I need to spread 2 counters, which I'm not going to be able to. And then I looked to Mud Shot, and they actually end up giving me the win con here. Because they threw the Dynamic Punch, I'm able to get the Mud Shot through. And then I'm able to under tap there and get the move off. If they didn't let me do that, then the counter would have definitely KO'd me before I got to the move. So GG's to my opponent, but they definitely gave me the win there at the end. I definitely could have played better, farmed up more, been a little bit more strategic on when I was throwing to be able to optimize the energy. So worked out okay. I can't really complain. A Medicham lead into Umbreon, so Abomasnow, this is a pretty neutral matchup. They end up lagging a little bit there. It's really unfortunate for them. It's sometimes tough because sometimes it's visual lag, and it's not actually the lag that's happening, but because I can't see the fast moves. So obviously a lot of times I do wait. I do end up getting extra Snarl through, which is really great. They have loads of energy, so I'm so curious what they're going to throw. They end up throwing the Blizzard, which is absolutely madness. I can't believe they just hit me with the Blizzard. That's That's crazy. Like, they end up switching to Ninetales to be able to get a little bit of farm and a little bit extra energy. Especially I wouldn't be able to farm down with Snarl, or it would have been really difficult to farm down with Snarl. So... okay, so... end up throwing the weather ball here. They end up shielding. So I believe I shield this. And then I throw the weather ball here. I believe I actually banked the weather ball. Not entirely. Oh, well, I thought maybe if they had like an Altaria later on, that the weather ball would come in handy. I don't think it actually ends up being that helpful because they end up having Swampert in the back. But Swampert in the back is totally fine for me. They can't really let me farm anymore, so very nice timing on their throw. And then I'm in a really good spot here, right? So like, it's not really too much they can do at this point in time. I end up throwing the weather ball here, and almost taking out the Swampert. I think they throw the Sludge Wave here. I'm not going to shield. Does neutral damage, non-stab. It's a pretty decent move. They end up leaving the match after that, so end up being pretty good for me. All right, going into this next match, Umbreon into Politoed. So again, decent matchup for me. We end up lagging at the beginning, so I have no idea what their energy's at. They come into Ferrothorn. It's actually really good that they come to Ferrothorn now, because it's like kind of trouble for my backline depending on what moveset it's carrying. They end up acid spraying me, which is kind of crazy here. So I'm like, I can't remember the last time I got acid sprayed by a Ferrothorn. So this is kind of a new experience for me. So I think I end up letting this go as well, because I'm like, okay, if it's a power up, I'll still survive it. And they throw another acid spray, which is yeah, this is madness. I'm gonna end up snarling down, which is really great for me. They come into Politoed. I really debated shielding here. I end up not shielding, but it does so much damage because my defenses drop so much. So they should be one away from the weather ball. And they don't get either mud shot through. Both get to double foul play, which is fantastic for me. And then I think I switch out here, or do I let it go down? No, they end up letting me get one more foul play. Then I must switch out here. There's no way I let it prime down me. So I go straight into Politoed. I think I end up shielding this just in case it's an earthquake, because they have built up quite a bit of energy. They end up going for the blizzard. I'm going to throw the weather ball here. And they end up having G-Fist in the back. So this is totally fine for me. This is a rock slide, so yeah. Really good for me. And I just need to land or I just need to connect with one more, but they obviously have a shield, so I need to throw two more weather balls here. And then I believe these two are able to KO. Oh yeah, for sure. Or it would be like 2 mud shots afterwards. Not quite KO, but it's like basically the same thing here. I do miss a bubble here, so they do get a few more mud shots. But I'm able to take out the G-Fist with Politoed, so no need for Ninetales in that matchup. I believe this is the second team I use, which is not a great team. I'm not gonna lie. This is by, I believe, Endermonk, which is Whimsicott, Bronzong, and Umbreon. Whimsicott with Rage Leaf would actually be pretty decent here because I'm throwing Charm. It does mean that they take resisted damage. The good thing is that I do resist the mud shot because I'm a grass type, and then as well I resist earthquake, so they're very unlikely to throw those. So it's just going to be straight rock slide. I debated trying to catch this on Bronzon, but it's admittedly pretty difficult to try to catch because of how the moves are synced between 3 and 2. As you can see, I'm trying to catch the rock slide, but it's just not gonna be possible. And I go into Umbreon here, and I look to farm down. I'm not gonna shield this. This is gonna be a rock slide. I'm able to snarl down, which is great. They come into Skarmory. And what do I do here? Do I try to get them to throw? Obviously, I want them to throw the Sky Attack into Bronzon, which does resist. But I get the extra Snarl through, which is great for me. Do I end up shielding this? I end up letting go. Even if it was a Brave Bird, then that would be okay. I think they actually needed one more air slash for the Brave Bird, but that's okay. I tried to catch the Sky Attack here, but they end up playing it too well. They end up throwing the Brave Bird at me here, and I have no shielding it, which is kind of not great for me. They end up going into Cresselia, but this is totally fine. I'm able to take out the Skarmory, and then Bronzon is going to be able to take... No, I don't think it's going to be able to take out the Cresselia, but at least double resist the Psycho Cuts, and then takes single super effective damage, or not resisted damage, or takes resisted damage from the charge moves. And Moonblast probably would have KO'd me there, but they end up going Grass Knot, which is a really interesting decision there. But I'm in a good position right now. Next Foul Play will KO, and then as well, I have 2 shields. So even if they have 100 energy, there's no way for them to throw three charge moves, especially with Cresselia, which is cheapest charge move is 50 energy. So ends up being really, really, really good for me. These are really fun battles, and if you're looking to have me run one of your teams, coming to the channel and then using 1,500 channel points in order to request a team is a great way for me to try your team. Someone's got a discard. She's absolutely terrible for me. They come into Toxtrot, which is pretty bad for me. I think I get absolutely destroyed in this game. I got hard counter on the lead, hard counter in the back line. Do I get hard countered on Bronzon as well? I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. They Sludge Bomb. They are going to look to counter me down. I will get a shield here. Or else I would have KO'd there, which would have been pretty good for me. What I should have done was wait the clock and this through one charm, then try to catch the Sludge Bomb onto... I was really hoping to live there, but to no avail. And I think they have something that like absolutely destroys Bronzon in the back. No, not destroys. I think they have Medicham. So Skarmory double fighters, which is a very interesting line. Yeah, very interesting line. I guess if they run into any tanks, they can immediately switch to one of their fighters, then hope that they don't have a second fighting answer, was probably what they're hoping for. But there's a lot of Pokemon that can... well, I don't know if can handle both. You can let me know in the comment section below what Pokemon can beat a Medicham and Toxtrot. Then I have Medicham here, and there's no point in me throwing here. Yeah. Unless I got to 2 maybe, but even then that would have KO'd, so I got a little bit of air finding match. So I think I'm gonna skip a little ahead. Nope, okay. Oh, we got a match, so which is great. Alright. Oh my gosh. Skarmory lead. I don't know why people suggested Whimsicott so much for me. I ended up going to Bronzon this time. Hoping to bait out it's a Pokemon people aren't familiar with, right? So maybe they're gonna make a mistake on the switch. So they end up coming bronze on here, which is really really good for me. I had to call whether or not this is gonna be a Hydro Pump or not. It ends up being an Ice Beam. But because they switched in, it makes me believe that they do have a Hydro Pump. Or they just are able to. Ends up being a Hydro Pump. I am going to look to Confusion down. And then, honestly, this would have been pretty bad for me. But they had an Obstagoon. I was like, oh man, thank goodness you didn't come Obstagoon to Bronzon. That would have been really bad for me. And I'm going to look to get to another one. They actually, I was really puzzled there on why they threw. And then I switch out to Umbreon. They switch to they switch out to Skarmory. I switch to Umbreon, and then I should be okay here because I'm going to be able to put it pretty low with Umbreon. And we're going to throw the foul play here. And throw another foul play. Another one here. I'm able to put it low enough that Whimsicott can basically sweep in the back. I think I end up switching here. I can't remember. They obviously make the switch here, which is really good for them. And they end up throwing the move here. I know it's not going to be a Gunk Shot, so it ends up being a Night Slash. I'm able to Charm Down. And then I should be able to Charm Down here or put it really low. And I think I have like, yeah. And I end up being in a good spot here. So really tough lead here, but obviously they made a mistake on the switch. If they would have brought Obstagoon into Bronzon, then that's obviously a way better matchup. Bronzon, as used, is very neutral. So, okay. All right. I think, there you go. So, again, another steal lead. It's just so bad for me. I have to stay here. I don't think I have much choice. And I can still get the Grass Knot, though, which is really good because I resist the Mud Shots again, take neutral from the Rock Slide, or resist the Earthquake. I did see someone run a Flash Cannon on Jephus, which would have been a pretty interesting moveset. I don't necessarily... Oh, they ended up throwing here instead of trying to farm me down, which is really good for me. And then I go into Umbreon here. And I throw the foul play. End up taking the move here. I thought they were going to EQ here. It's kind of weird. End up throwing here because they have a bunch of energy, but they don't have enough for the EQ. So here comes Pelipper. So pretty straightforward situation for me. And yeah, plus like I resist the wing attacks. I do take neutral from Weather Ball, and I resist I resist Bronzon, resist the wing attacks, and then takes neutral from the Weather Ball, and then obviously resist the Hurricane. They have no shielding that, which is kind of weird, but that's okay. And they ended up leaving the match. At that point in time, they basically just conceded. Okay, all right. I believe this is match number 4. Oh no, this is match number 5. So I end up having a really good lead here. I could have stayed there too. And then I'm actually going to get another Snarl, which is great. And able to our foul play. It's looking really good for me. Do I farm down here? Can't remember. I must farm down here. They threw so many charge moves at me. I also want to be really low for for this Obstagoon, so I can't farm that much. 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. I just throw that for the chip damage. 8, 9. So they should have. I think they were actually one or two short of the gunk shot, but I'm like, oh, it's too risky because they were counting in between. Yeah, but that's okay. It's all good. And at this point in time, this matchup's over. They're so bad against Whimsicott, and I ended up throwing it. I ended up switching to catch the sky attack because mostly the charm that's gonna do damage. And they end up leaving that match. So, all right. So we're gonna go into team number 3, which is Gavantula, Azu, and Scrafty. Pretty solid team. A very meta team, I guess. Oh, I might have actually ended up skipping a battle. No, I have 15 minutes left here. Okay. So go Gavantula into Skarmy. Obviously, a really good lead for me. This tells me that they are weak to something else with Gavantula. So I throw the discharge there. They're gonna be able to throw the sky attack, obviously here. So I can throw 3 more volt switches before throwing a move. Before the next sky attack comes. I'm actually able to get another volt switch through, which is great for me. And then at this point in time, I'm looking to farm down, which I end up doing, and then it ends up being a Swampert. And then I think I go Azu here. Oh no, I knew it was Scrafty here. They end up having a Venusaur, which is very bad for me, but that's okay. The foul play actually did way more damage than I thought it would do, so they should be in play rough range now, and they don't really have a chance to catch a move here. Even though I don't have Ice Beam, I have a play rough Hydro Pump. Even though I should be able to survive here, they shouldn't be able to switch out. So, because they just switched in, so there's no chance of a sack. So, puts me in a really good spot here. Able to throw the play rough, and then bubble down the Swampert before it gets to move. So that's going to be GG. I think I have a lot of like these air fighting matches. Same thing. Let me see if I skip over this. I think I had it for quite a while. Ended up catching a Pokemon, coming back in. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting matchup here. Most of the time I like to go discharge here, because I figured that they're just trying to sack their Toxtrot, but I end up going to lunge and seeing what happens. Obviously, if they don't shield, this is pretty disastrous because it is double resisted. And then I ended up switching to Stunfisk, which is a really nice switch. I kind of wished I should have the lunge there. But that's okay. I'm going to go into Scrafty here. Gonna pop. And I'm going to look to leave this. I'm going to not shield anything. I take the Earthquake, which is no problem. And then I'd be able to live. I think Then I'm throwing the power-up punch here. And they end up no-shielding this, which is kind of crazy here. And they end up having a Hypno. I probably could have made it to the foul play. I didn't survive another whole confusion, which I probably would have been able to. But I switch out to Gavantula, hoping that I can get to the lunge to be able to debuff. But that's okay. I'm in a really good spot at this point in time. So they're 3. Okay, so they have a move here. I'm gonna shield this. They have 2. I'm actually not entirely sure why they played at this end game like they did. Then shielding that makes sense. So they end up having 2. I end up catching the Thunder Punch. It's totally fine. And then I'm pretty sure they have 2, or they're like 1 away from 2, and they end up surviving. They actually get the confusion through 2 as well, and then they end up double over tapping, which is actually ended up allowing me to get that bubble off and be able to KO. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but that was very weird. But that's okay. It happens. It's very difficult with confusion or like Volt Switch or some other move. Okay, so this ends up being pretty good for me. So even if they don't shield the lunge here, I end up having to shield this. They end up throwing the Leaf Blade here, which is I find kind of weird. But even if they end up don't shielding this lunge, this actually works a little bit better for me because now I can farm down and take resisted counter damage, or resisted and single debuff counter damage, which is really a lot better for me. They come into Umbreon, which is very interesting. And they go into Azu, which is kind of weird. And I think I end up shielding right here, because the discharge would do way more damage than the play rough, and I'm almost there anyway, so I should be able to survive, get this next one off, and then I think I try to switch or actually made this KOs, yeah, and then I come to Scrafty, and this game is basically over. There's not really too much for them to do. Scrafty, way too tanky, should be able to take those last resorts like a champ. Not like a Machamp, like a champ. This ended up being quite a long video, to be honest. 35 minutes of battling. Hopefully people appreciate the additional work that I'm putting into commenting over these battles, because I had to like figure out where they were on the video, on the stream, and then clip it and all that stuff. I end up switching out to Scrafty here. I expect this to be Metacham double steal, so expect Bastion in the back. I could have went into Azu, but I feel like this is a better way to control the switch advantage, because there's really nothing that that the Stunfisk can do. I can live a Rock Slide as well, and then I think I ended up living this Rock Slide, and then the foul play is going to do some really good neutral damage, especially the fact that it's boosted. I throw right away because I think that counter KOs me, because it is super effective. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess I would have ended up surviving. And they come into Bastion. This is a pretty straightforward matchup from here. Just go straight Hydro Pump. We get to the moves at the exact same time. It's always 7 Smackdowns for them. And it's always 7 bubbles for me. That's like the hopefully people enjoyed this background music. This is these are some remixes from members of the Pokemon community. Hopefully I don't get flagged for copyright. We'll find out when I put up this on YouTube. I'll include a link to the Spotify if people are interested, and also download this music. So they're gonna try to catch here. I already know that, so I bank it, and then I don't need to shield this Gavantula because I think they end up surviving this. Technically, discharge does more damage. It probably would have KO'd there, but it doesn't really matter here. And it doesn't matter if they're able to farm me down. They have move. Even if I didn't have a shield, I would be fine because Azumarill wins CMP versus Bastodon. So it ends up being pretty good for me, and I'm able to close out that match. I believe I went 5-0 first team, 4-1 with the second team, then 5-0 with the last team. So I ended up doing pretty well. Hopefully people enjoyed those battles. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.